welcome. You're watching the Newshour Agenda. I am Padmaja Joshi. Punjab is shocked at the audacious attack on its intelligence headquarters in Mohali. This attack took place using a rocket-propelled grenade launcher, weapon that so far one associated only with conflict areas. After initial denials, the police admitted that the RPG had been fired from the road, possibly by two car-borne men. A terror link is now also under investigation, but the issue has landed the Aam Aadmi Party government right in the middle of political crossfire, simply because of the Khalistan issue that is repeatedly raised in the state of late. On the 29th of April, radicals clashed with an anti-Khalistan rally carried out by the Shiv Sena. Of the 9 arrested for the clash, 3 were pro-Khalistan sympathizers. Then on the 8th of May, an explosives haul took place in Taran with 1.5 kilos of RDX being found. Politically too, the Aam Aadmi Party has repeatedly been attacked for being soft on radical elements. Charges that they have vehemently refuted. Today, again, as those allegations resurfaced, the ruling party, for its part, hinted that all of that has happened is a deliberate plot to try and spread hate.
कल रात जो मोहाली ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਘਟਨਾ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ ਮੈਂ ਡੀਜੀਪੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਰੇ ਇੰਟੈਲੀਜੈਂਸ ਦੇ ਅਫਸਰਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਮੀਟਿੰਗ ਲਈ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਸਾਰਾ डिटेल ਜਿਹੜੀ है वो निकल रही है और गिरफ्तारियां कुछ हो भी गई कुछ हो जाणगियां ते जड़ां तक पहुंच जाएंगे जिन्हें भी पंजाब का माहौल को खराब करने की कोशिश की थी वो बख्शिया नहीं जाऊगा सख्त तो सख्त सजा मिलेगी।
बहुत ही चिंताजनक मुद्दा है। जब से आम आदमी पार्टी की पंजाब में सरकार रही है, कत्ल के केसेस में वृद्धि, पटियाला में दंगे, तरन तारण में आरडीएक्स का मिलना और अब पुलिस के ही दफ्तर पे हमला हो जाना, ये बात दर्शाता है कि आम आदमी पार्टी केजरीवाल की जो पंजाब में सरकार है, पंजाब की सुरक्षा अमन चैन के लिए हानिकारक है।
पंजाब में मोहाली ब्लास्ट नफरत फैलाने की और डर फैलाने की एक कोशिश है। आम आदमी पार्टी की सरकार, भगवंत मान जी की सरकार पंजाब का अमन चैन कायम करने के लिए पूरी तरीके से प्रतिबद्ध है और जो भी पंजाब का अमन चैन और शांति बिगाड़ने की कोशिश करेगा, शांति भंग करने की कोशिश करेगा, उसकी जगह जेल के सीचों के पीछे है।
ये छोटी बात नहीं है। पंजाब के मुख्यमंत्री भगवंत मान जी को मैं बोलना चाहता हूं कि भगवंत मान जी, आपको प्रदेश की जनता ने मुख्यमंत्री चेहरे के बाद चुना है। आप पंजाब की पुलिस का भी इमेज बचाइए, आप पंजाब को भी बचाइए और पंजाब को अलगाववादियों से भी बचाइए।
Given the extremely fraught history of the state, especially now that the Aam Aadmi Party has a completely new leadership in government, questions are being asked about whether this newly minted government finds itself struggling in handling a complex border state like Punjab. A state that shares a border with Pakistan, where there's constantly the threat of anti-India elements being at play, and also its history. Or if a deliberate ploy is afoot to destabilize Punjab, the government as well as the region.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
All right, joining us, Nupur Sharma, National Spokesperson of the BJP, Pritpal Singh Baliwal, Chief Spokesperson of the Punjab Lok Congress of Captain Amarinder Singh, Professor Manojit Mandal, political analyst, and Dr. Sumanth Raman, also political analyst, both vociferous defenders of the Aam Aadmi Party, or at least the defender of the Punjab government. Dr. Sumanth Raman, if an intelligence headquarter is attacked with a rocket-propelled grenade, what does that say about the intelligence of the police as well as the state?
First of all, the police are investigating, and hopefully in the next few days we will know who exactly was behind this particular incident. This is completely unacceptable. There has been an intelligence failure. There is nothing to defend there. But the problem seems to be the the kind of extreme keenness in sort of making it look as if law and order has collapsed in Punjab and that the Aam Aadmi Party seems to be, hand in glove with, or at least soft on anti-national elements in the state or pro-Khalistani elements and so on. Now, I think that this is an issue of very significant national importance because this is an attack on a country. It is not an attack on a political party or an individual. So I think that we have to rise above politics on this. The NIA is now seized of the matter. They have joined the investigation. So soon we will know. And this is certainly not an issue on which we should play politics. I mean, I could reel off a list of at least half a dozen, similar instances prior to the Aam Aadmi Party coming to power. In the last 10 years itself, I could come up with instances where, in 2016, for instance, there was RDX which was found in Ludhiana. Yes. There was a blast in Moga. I mean, I could go on. This is not the point of, saying that in Congress times also this happened, or in Akali Dal rule also these kind of incidents have happened. Perhaps not rocket-propelled grenades, but
so this is supposed to be when you should rally together and not pull in different directions. Since you spoke about how it has also happened under Captain Amarinder Singh, I'll bring in Pritpal Singh Baliwal. When Captain was the Chief Minister, also this was happening. Then why are you making it seem as if Bhagwant Mann is the biggest failure? Pritpal Singh Baliwal.
देखिए पदमजा, जब कैप्टन अमरिंदर सिंह ऐसी बातें करते थे कि ड्रोन से हथियार आ रहे हैं, टिफिन बम मिल रहे हैं, तो ये मान जी उनकी मजाक खिल्ली उड़ा करते थे। ड्रोन से भी कैसी ऐसी चीजें आ जाती हैं। और कल क्या जो इंसिडेंस है पदमजा, 6-7 फुट का होता है वो रॉकेट लॉन्चर, और वो लेके आए आदमी, उसको लोड किया, हिट किया। मुझे नहीं लगता कि 20-25 के साल से मेरी समझ है, जब से मैं पॉलिटिक्स देख रहा हूं, तो ऐसी घटना पंजाब में हुई हो कि तालिबान जैसे रॉकेट लॉन्चर जैसे घूम रहे हैं लोग शरेआम पंजाब में, और वो इंटेलिजेंस के हेडक्वार्टर को हिट कर रहे हैं, और मेरे भाई यहाँ पे रमन जी उसे डिफेंड कर रहे हैं कि ऐसी बातें होती है। 25 साल से मैंने नहीं सुनी कि पंजाब में ऐसी कोई चीजें हैपन हुई है। ये हुई है अब स्टार्ट, चाहे वो 3-4 दिन पहले टेररिस्ट पकड़े गए, ज्वाइंट ऑपरेशन विद क्या कहते हैं हरियाणा पुलिस, ठीक है, वो इशू, तरन तारन का इशू, उससे पहले इशू, और लुधियाना बॉम्ब ब्लास्ट की बात कर रहे हैं,
अभी क्यों शुरू हुए? आपके हिसाब से ये केयरलेसनेस है, इनएबिलिटी है, या कंस्पिरेसी है?
देखिए,
बी क्लियर अबाउट इट, बिकॉज ये हमेशा नज नज विंक विंक होता है कि देखिए जब से आम आदमी पार्टी आई है तभी से शुरू हो रहा है। व्हाट इज योर चार्ज? इज दिस बीइंग डन डिलिबरेटली? आर यू सजेस्टिंग दैट आम आदमी पार्टी इज हैंड इन ग्लव? व्हाई वुड दे वांट टू डिस्टेबलाइज देयर स्टेट?
देखिए बात ऐसी है पदमजा के इसके ऊपर मैं क्वेश्चन आम आदमी पार्टी पे नहीं खड़ा कर रहा, बट कई इश्यूज हैं। नेशनल सिक्योरिटी थ्रेट है, एंटी नेशनल एलिमेंट्स जो पंजाब में घूम रहे हैं, जैसे कि गुरपत पन्नू पहले जब कैप्टन अमरिंदर सिंह थे वो इस चीजों के ऊपर नकेर रखी हुई थी, एक स्ट्रॉन्ग लीडर थे। आज की डेट में एक कॉमेडियन बैठा है। जो यूक्रेन में हुआ वो एक कॉमेडियन की गलती से हुआ, आज जो पंजाब में हो रहा वो भी एक वैसा ही एक एग्जांपल।
डॉक्टर सुमंथ रमन, ineptitude, ineptitude at best.
Person.
Padmaja, I wish to point out and correct Mr. Pritpal Singh that this is not the first time an RPG attack has happened. In fact, in 2013, it may not have been Captain Amarinder Singh's government at that time, but in 2013 there has been a similar RPG attack on a Punjab police office. So this is not the first time. There have been similar instances, and just because the Aam Aadmi Party is in power, yes, they are still finding their feet. How old is this government? It's hardly a few months old. And I'm not saying there is no excuse for the intelligence failure which allowed this incident to happen. My point is to somehow make it out that AAP is actually colluding with these people on the basis of zero evidence which you have produced so far, except
it's unfair to call it collusion, Nupur Sharma. It's maybe carelessness, maybe inexperience, collusion, Nupur Sharma.
Can I just tell you something, Padmaja, before I even say good evening, because there's nothing good about this evening. I wonder where is the official Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson. Just because they are in a spot, they will duck and avoid answering any questions. Otherwise, I see them rather frequently on your TV channel on debates. When it suits them, they will come, shoot and scoot. But today, because कटघरे में आज आम आदमी पार्टी खड़ी है, तो उनके ऑफिशियल प्रवक्ता उन्हें डिबेट को ही डिच कर दिया है.
No,
I would start this debate by challenging a single Aam Aadmi person.
So let's put the facts straight over there. They do not come on my show in their defense. But yes, go on.
Padmaja, even if for a minute I were to believe they have boycotted your show, I would bet my life they would not participate in any others. And secondly, I would bet my life, I would start my debate by asking them, by sloganeering. I would challenge them to sloganeer. Bolo Khalistan Murdabad. वो कह ही नहीं पाते. And I can give you a list of incidents that have happened. You know, it's a bit rich, but you know, before I actually go on to saying what I was saying, Mr. Raman, you know, I did not interrupt him. Mr. Raman probably does not know how to debate. Mr. Raman also does not know what to say. You know, when the reactionary violence, because demolition of illegal structure has led to a certain few people who, you know, follows Aam Aadmi Party ka tyrant MLAs, Atanki MLAs, that is called the intelligence failure of the Union Home Minister. But what is happening in succession in Punjab is not the intelligence failure of Aam Aadmi Party. Wah, matlab taali bajaungi is logic ke upar. Point number 2, is it not true that the banned outfit Khalistani Liberation Front का जो चीफ है उसके घर में रात बिताई थी अरविंद केजरीवाल ने जनवरी 2017 को? Is the sting operation not true that Dal Khalsa actually gave crores of rupees to Aam Aadmi Party in 2017 elections? Is it not true that the leader of opposition in the Punjab Assembly, Mr. Khera, actually backed the referendum 2020 demand of a separate Punjab state? And is it also not true, you may feel that this is not a big issue, but the Chief Minister of Himachal Pradesh has got a voice threat, and the voice threat also asks for referendum 2020 and goes on to claim what has happened in Mohali.
Because you know, if you are making that suggestion, the suggestion here is that there is an active patronage of Khalistan or at least pro-Khalistan forces by the government. That is a very serious charge, and in which case there should be cases registered against the people who are sympathetic.
I'm sorry, Padmaja, I just have one instance to quote to you. Is it not true that International Sikh Youth Federation, a banned Khalistani front, their chief Gurdial Singh was found photographed campaigning for Aam Aadmi Party candidates? It's a matter of record. So they have flirted, rather they have given the platform, and I believe it was the former DGP of the state, now late, Mr. Gill, who came on record to say it is a dangerous precedent being set by the Aam Aadmi Party. You were saying that Arvind Kejriwal, after spending the night at the president of KLF's residence, Gurvinder Singh, has nothing to do with Khalistani movement.
Professor Mandal, as you sow, so shall you reap.
Let me complete first.
And some separatist chicken have come home to roost. Professor Mandal.
This is amazing. A party that has given ticket to a terror-charged Pragya Singh Thakur is talking about terrorism. A party that is pandering to the Ulfa militants in Assam in complete collusion with them is talking about these things. And what are you talking about? Arvind Kejriwal has categorically stated he is also Bharat Mata ki santan. आप लोग नहीं हो. और जो कांग्रेस का जो बंदा बोल रहे थे ना, ये सब काल पैदा नहीं हुए. अगर वहाँ खालिस्तान है, if there is problem of Khalistan or some deviance, it is also the failure of the central government, the failure of central intelligence. You have to understand this region has been historically volatile, right? I mean, Padmaja, you rightly began. If there are issues, it has to be sorted out in complete collaboration with the central intelligence. How are you making politics out of that?
No, but
how
sir,
many terror attacks happen in Bangalore?
The job of local intelligence, state intelligence. You cannot have the National Security Advisor sitting at the intelligence headquarters in Mohali saying, oh look, there are two men sitting there in the car with a rocket-propelled grenade. Like Pritpal Singh Baliwal said right at the beginning, that this is inexcusable, that from drones dropping weapons to drugs making their way to 1.5 kilos of RDX, in recent memory, an RPG attack is extremely rare.
I'll reply. I'll reply. It is definitely of great concern. But fact remains that terrorism is not the responsibility only of the state.
It is not. But
there are agencies to deal with that. I mean, NIA has been specifically carved out of CBI to deal with that.
As far as the government is concerned, you can have a conversation about law and order, about there being a difficult history. But then on the other hand, the state police has absolutely no problem in sending a team after Alka Lamba, in sending a team after Pal Singh Bagga, in sending a team after Kumar Vishwas. If you are going to be deputing 50-50 policemen across states to pick up people for their tweets, then surely someone is not going to be looking at what's happening in Mohali headquarters, right?
Let me reply. Yes, I'll reply.
Padmaja,
Definitely there will be some, carelessness on the part of the intelligence. That is sure. But to make politics on it,
Sir,
to blame that Arvind Kejriwal's government is in collusion with these people.
Sir, you still haven't answered my question about totally misbegotten priorities. Let Nupur Sharma come in. But you still haven't answered about my question on priorities.
No, if there is
that
a crime, there is a crime
and the alertness shown in going after your political opponents is far greater than actually seeing the problem you have at hand in terms of radicals.
Pal must be Bagga or whatever his name, he should be behind bars.
You may think he may be behind bars, but twice the court has ruled that he should not be behind bars. Anyway, we'll come to him in a bit.
What are you talking about on this?
We'll come to in a bit. Well, a court has twice thought that he should not be behind bars. But anyway, yes, Nupur Sharma.
What are you talking about? They are talking about terrorism.
Nupur Sharma.
Padmaja, you hit the nail on its head, because the fact is that the four you hit the nail on its head. The fact is that to catch the 4 terrorists involved in Patiala violence, Padmaja, I don't want to be heckled. I request you that either his fader be put down because he doesn't know how to behave. Please, Padmaja, please. The fact is that you actually hit the nail on its head. You are absolutely right. If this kind of emergency or sincerity was shown in picking up the terrorists involved in the Patiala violence, then they wouldn't have to seek the help of Haryana police, which intercepted and stopped these 4 terrorists from leaving the border of Haryana at the toll. I'm sorry, so helpless and so useless is the Punjab police under the Aam Aadmi Party government administration. But having said that, bit rich from a supporter and a person who usually talks about TMC. TMC workers are famous rather for running bomb factories in their houses, and so many bombs have gone off, killing your own workers and volunteers and ranks, that terrorism bhi sharma jaye. आप तो बॉम्ब फैक्ट्री रन करते हैं अपने घर के अंदर, दूसरे को क्या आतंकवादी बता रहे हैं? Maybe you must be talking about people like Tahir Hussain. When the court especially last week said that Tahir Hussain is not only a conspirator, he was a rioter himself at the stage of only framing charges, not even during the final course of judgment. Or maybe you're talking about Ansar, who did this pushpa action, challenging the majesty of the Rohini court, the judiciary of this country. Perhaps you need to stop looking around and filibustering. The fact of the matter is, Aam Aadmi Party gave a platform, rather a stage, to resurrect the Khalistani movement, and now they're dealing with what they actually sowed.
Professor Mandal.
And as far as Pragya Thakur is concerned, read R.V.S. Mani's book, then you would not make these statements.
Professor Mandal.
Padmaja.
Now, please. Now, you're talking about certain civil behavior, right? Let me speak now. You in Delhi, you let the riot happen. That's what you did 2 years back in 2020. That's what you did few days ago during the Ram Navami procession. You knew that this procession will happen.
Okay, again we are going off topic. This is not about discussing what happened in Jahangir Puri, sir. Answer the simple question, question of priorities. You have, by all means, you are saying, in national security, the government is finding its feet. But let me put to you, sir, Dr. Sumanth Raman, since you very charitably said, look, this is a new government. Bhagwant Mann is a first-time chief minister. Hell, he's a first-time legislator. He's just been an MP so far. So for him to find his feet, it didn't take very long for him to quickly say, Alka Lamba, pakad ke lao. Tejinder Pal Bagga, pakad ke lao. Kumar Vishwas, FIR karo. For that he didn't take very much time. 2 months. That's all it took. 2 months.
They took a long
And
time.
he quickly found the time. He said, all right, I've got the police now. Let's sort these people out. That didn't take a lot of finding their feet, Dr. Raman.
No. It took a long time. For Bagga, they sent 5 notices asking him to appear, not 1. They sent a second, they sent a third, they sent a fourth, they sent a 5th.
Sir, you are proving my point, saying you are going after a man, sending him notice after notice for a tweet. Here there are people running around with rocket launchers. Surely you can reserve little more alertness for people with actual weapons than people with tweets.
Yeah. Now, actual weapons is an intelligence failure that is being investigated. Now the question is, since the question of the court observations came up, we also must draw your attention to what the court has said about the Delhi police and about their failure to prevent the march. This came out 2 days ago.
So great, again, like Professor Mandal, you are going back to Jahangir Puri. We have debated this ad nauseum. Can we please remain fixed on what is at hand? Otherwise, if we are going to talk about failures, we are going to go back to Jahangir Puri, to the Delhi riots, we are going to talk about Karoli. Please stick to a question of priorities of the Punjab police. You cannot just get by saying intelligence failure. If it's a failure, then explain why you failed. Explain why you failed when you have been extremely adept and very professional in going after political rivals, Dr. Raman. There is no failure, there is no finding of feet when you want to hit out at political rivals.
Is at some level an intelligence failure. There is no doubt about it.
Which level, sir? It's a failure at every level.
My point is, you calling it or suggesting that there is collusion is totally different from saying that the Punjab police missed out as far as the intelligence on this is concerned.
So basically you are saying, without saying it in so many words, you are saying they are not colluding, they are just incompetent.
No. Why? The centre felt during Captain Amarinder Singh's term, what did the centre feel? They said that the Punjab police need not have jurisdiction closer to the border, and they gave it to the BSF. They increased that area. You remember that?
Okay, Mr. Baliwal, respond to that.
That was not done during Aam Aadmi Party's government. That was done during Captain Amarinder Singh's
Okay, Mr. Baliwal, respond to that.
मिस्टर रमन, पहले तो मैं आपको करेक्ट करना चाहूंगा कि जॉन साहब ने बताया था कि रॉकेट लॉन्चर के साथ अटैक हुआ था 2013 में. ऐसा कोई भी अटैक 2013 में नहीं हुआ. 20 साल से मैं कह रहा हूं कि कोई ऐसा अटैक, कोई रॉकेट लॉन्चर लेके यहाँ पे पंजाब में लोग नहीं घूम रहे. तालिबान बनाने जैसा हाल हो चुका है. अगर कोई आगे कोई वीडियो ऐसी आ गई कि रॉकेट लॉन्चर के साथ अटैक हो रहा है, वो भी पुलिस की बिल्डिंग में, फर्स्टली. और सेकेंडली, जो लॉ एंड ऑर्डर और बाकी चीजों की बातें कर रहे हो, आप दिल्ली पे ले जाओ या XYZ कहीं भी घुमा के लो, मैं आपको पंजाब पे लेके आऊंगा. ये 60 दिन की गवर्नमेंट में 100 के करीब कत्ल हो गए हैं. 20 किलिंग्स गैंगस्टर द्वारा कर दी गई हैं. 80 लोग नशे के कारण मर गए हैं. ये किसका फेल्यूर है? ये मोदी जी का फेल्यूर है कि कैप्टन अमरिंदर का फेल्यूर है? किसका फेल्यूर है? ये भगवंत मान का फेल्यूर है? उस चीज का जवाब दीजिए क्लियरली कि ये फेल्यूर है. और आप ये अटैक इंटेलिजेंस के ऑफिस में हुआ है. कौन सी इंटेलिजेंस? वो तो फिर बात करेंगे ना कि कोई बक्का को पकड़ने चली गई, कोई वो अलका लांबा को पकड़ने चली गई, किसी को नोटिस सर्व हो गया, पॉलिटिकल वेंडेटा शुरू हो गया. हमने तो कहा है भगवंत भाई कि भैया नॉलेज शेयरिंग के लिए दिल्ली दूर है, कैप्टन अमरिंदर सिंह के पास आ जाओ. उन्होंने इस चीज को डील किया हुआ है. पंजाब में शांति व्यवस्था बनाकर रखी है और ऐसे कोई अटैक्स पंजाब में नहीं होते रहे और पकड़े जाते रहे लोग. आपको पता है कितने मॉड्यूल्स बस्ट किए हमने अपनी गवर्नमेंट में? नियर अबाउट 100 अटैक मॉड्यूल्स थे जो टेररिस्ट के, वो हमने अपनी गवर्नमेंट में 5 साल में बस्ट किए हैं. आपके साथ तो पहले बार में डील आउट नहीं हो सकता. यही कारण है कि एक लीडर और अनमैच्योर लीडर में, अभी वो नए हैं और ऑपोजिशन भी यही कह रहा है कि ऑल पार्टी मीटिंग बुला लीजिए, आप कंसर्न ले लीजिए हमारे पास एक्सपीरियंस है. आप इनएक्सपीरियंस हो इस चीज के लिए.
Professor Mandal, you should welcome that. If you are saying that they are inexperienced and they are finding their feet, then say it. Say that our priority first is going to be in securing our borders, in trying to get our law and order in place. You have had RDX hall, you have had drone intrusion, you have had clashes, and now you have had a full-blown attack. प्रोफेसर मंडल,
no, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल ये सब आपको पता होना चाहिए, पुलिस कोई नया नहीं है, ये पुराना पुलिस है. ये गवर्नमेंट नहीं आए, आप क्या बोल रहे हो?
अरे
यू आर डिस्ट्रॉइंग द मॉरल ऑफ द पुलिस।
पुलिस अफसर टॉप टू बॉटम सब अपनी मर्जी के लाए गए हैं सर, एंड द रैंक एंड फाइल इज ओनली एज गुड एज द लीडरशिप। Do you even want to go into the history of how leadership has been changed of the police?
पुलिस फोर्स हुई है। आप इसके अरे आपके कश्मीर में हर रोज ड्रोन अटैक होते हैं। एयरपोर्ट में कश्मीर में आए थे, दिल्ली में भी ड्रोन आ जाते हैं। तो अब इसके बारे में हम पॉलिटिक्स करें क्या? माने कि होम मिनिस्टर का फेलियर है? क्या बात कर रहे हो? अगर अरे आप सुनिए अरे आपका वो क्या सिद्धू साहब क्या थे? वो तो पाकिस्तान चले गए थे, वो तो आईएसआई के साथ तो आप अरे आप क्या आप हंस रहे हो? इसीलिए आपके शो में कोई आम आदमी का पार्टी नहीं आते? अरे आप क्या सिद्धू क्या है ना, वो आईएसआई के साथ चले गए थे ना, सिद्धू सिंह। आप निकला पार्टी से, क्या बात करते हो आप? इसका मतलब कि आपके साथ पाकिस्तान का ताल्लुकात है, आपके पार्टी के साथ?
अरे ये कैप्टन अमरिंदर सिंह के पंजाब लोग कांग्रेस है, प्रोफेसर मंडल, यू हैवंट स्टडीड दिस, यू गॉट इट अपसाइड डाउन। आप प्रताप सिंह बलियावाल को क्यों सिद्धू के लिए सुना रहे हैं? वो तो मतलब this is like chalk and cheese. Anyhow, but the relevant point that you did make, Nupur Sharma, is that eventually the police force is the same, the challenges are the same. So to suddenly say that Arvind Kejriwal or Bhagwant Mann has turned around the character of the police is facile. Nupur Sharma.
Can I just add to, you're missing the point. What did he say? Only the government has changed. Well, that's the whole point. When the government changes, the intention and the political will changes as well. When you have the Aam Aadmi Party, when an opposition in the last Satra openly back and support referendum 2020 call, what else is left to say, Padmaja? That's the reason why Aam Aadmi Party never once objected to the, to the show of the Khalistani flag on the Delhi border. Rather, Arvind Kejriwal happily went there and joined the bandwagon. That's the whole point I'm trying to make. It's insane how these people are actually comparing what happened in Jahangirpuri to what happened in, especially a terrorist attack at the intelligence unit in Mohali. I mean, you can't be comparing apples and oranges, or perhaps you're just showing your lack of knowledge. For that matter, much like, in the corridors, Padmaja, let me just complete this. Okay. In the corridors of the court, we say half knowledge of law is twice and dangerous. But in the case of Mr. Raman, it is 50 times more dangerous. If there were 5 notices sent, all were replied to. 2 lawyers from Delhi went to also submit the statement of the person here. This is the reason why Punjab Haryana High Court gave him protection twice. This is the whole point. You were so busy parking police vans and ambulances in the radius of 250 meters, 250 meters from the house of Tejinder Bagga, that you forgot that there are terrorists attacking you in your own backyard, Padmaja. That's what's happened. It's the most abrupt and most shameless slipping of the government. They have allowed terrorism to panpo. That's the word. इन्होंने आतंकवाद को पनपने दिया है, इन्होंने खालिस्तानी मूवमेंट का साथ दिया है। मेरी बात नहीं सुन रहे, केपीएस गिल साहब की बात सुन लो। मेरी नहीं सुन रहे, अपने खुद के लीडर ऑपोजिशन खेरा की बात सुन लो। मेरी नहीं सुन रहे तो दल खालसा की गुरविंदर सिंह की बात सुन लो, गुरचरण सिंह की बात सुन लो।
डॉक्टर अमन, क्विक रिस्पांस।
कोई कमी नहीं छोड़ी ताहिर हुसैन और अंसार को अपनी पार्टी में जो ले आया।
डॉक्टर अमन, क्विक रिस्पांस।
I would like to give the date. I think it is July 2015. Where there was a similar RPG attack. Fortunately, at that point, the RPG did not explode, and therefore there was no damage. So my point is not to say that there have been attacks before, therefore there can be attacks now. No. The point is there has been an intelligence failure.
Yes,
but
and
please
well
don't
taken
politicize
point,
it.
but the point also is that when a government is seen on one hand almost sleeping at the wheel as their intelligence headquarters is attacked, and on the other hand showing immense alacrity in carrying out police action, the optics are not very flattering, and that is the limited point. If not to charges of collusion, at least to charges of misplaced priorities, this government will definitely have to answer. Thank you very much, all gentlemen. Nupur Sharma for joining me.